for asking that question, and this is why. We've had conversation across board with some of these unions and all of that. The reference is always to the National Assembly most of the time. When government comes to them and say, look at the fiscal challenges we're having. For the demands you're making, we could prorata or we may not be able to pay or whatever reason the government will give. They come back and say, members of the National Assembly go home with humongous amounts every month, and they don't know what they are doing as professionals in their own field, in their own right, with due respect to the National Assembly. So the question is the National Assembly sometimes sitting down to look inwards to ask themselves, why do people always refer to just hold on. Why do people always refer to us? Is there something you can do in terms of cutting costs of your own institution so that we can, transfer some of this money to attend to other issues? Just to be mild on this one.
Yes, thank you very much, my great brother. Look, we have three arms of government. There is the legislative arm, there is the executive arm, and there is the judiciary. Now, these three arms, they have their separate budgets. The budget of executive, that is where the issue of Minister of Education takes their own. That of the judiciary is where the courts and the other agencies under the judiciary takes their own. Then that of the National Assembly is for the legislation. And so our budgets do not interwoven. So what is due to the legislation will not be used as a sacrifice to the executive. And then the issue at hand is about allowances and salaries of SANU and NASU members, which is not embedded in the budget of the National Assembly. So if they're asking for what belongs to them, I don't think it is the National Assembly that will now use their own emoluments or whatever, either overhead or capital, to satisfy that. So for this, don't let us mix all these things together. Now let us go straight to the issue of NASU, ASU, and SANU. Then ASU had been maybe answered to a very large extent. Then it now remains NASU and SANU. So now let us sit down to talk to NASU and SANU with Federal Ministry of Education. So if there's whatever we can do to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of labor dispute, that is where we are now on this one.
The thing
so
is,
the issue of saying that
if I'm a button, sir,
or a House of Representatives member, for him not to take a salary, that we have to use that salary to pay at the arrears for a lecturer.
No, distinguished. We're not mixing. Just my apologies.
There are salary components. There are salary components. There are salary components in the budgets of the Federal Ministry of Education, which have been appropriated appropriately. And that.
All right, distinguished. I don't want us to mix the issues.
And NASU people will now.
Nobody is trying to take your salaries. Let's be very clear.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Nigerians, nobody is trying to take your salaries. Nigerians say that the National Assembly members, you're earning, the money you're getting for the job you're doing is too much. It is time to scale down and cut costs. So let me ask you a straight question. Because most of the, hold on, distinguished. Just hold on.
Mr. Journalist, before you go on, Mr. Journalist, you are a journalist. Mr. Journalist, you are a journalist. Before a journalist can allege and agree and ask a question, then it means that you have done a great investigation. What is that money that the National Assembly members are earning, that it is feeding the progress of development in Nigeria? I have not seen.
So let me ask the question. Let me just ask the question.
Like I said.
Can I ask the question?
Like I said, please. Like I said, the 2023 budget and 2024 budget, the budget of the National Assembly is not up to 1% of the whole budget. It's not up to. And the National Assembly is an arm of government. That is the legislative arm of government. It is not up to 1% of the budget. And so within this budget, that is where salaries of legislators are. That is where salaries of all the auxiliary staff in the National Assembly are. That is where either the bureaucrats, the technocrats, the support staff of the National Assembly, which are more than 20,000, even up to 50,000, that is where that one is. And it is less than 1% of the annual budget of the Federation.
Okay, so Senator, if I'm a button, so that we can jump to other issues.
That do the appropriation. I'm not saying that the National Assembly that is doing the appropriation is not entitled to an.
All right, if you allow me for a minute, distinguish, just hang on so that we can have a conversation. All right, I've been allowing you to talk, so you let me talk as well. So let me ask you straight questions. How much does an average senator go home with in a month? It's a direct question, so direct answer.
Yes. It's a direct question. And I will give you a direct answer. The direct answer that I will give you is that if I tell you it's the 10 naira, you will not believe it. You are a journalist. There is Freedom of Information Act. Go and use it and find out and show the evidence openly to Nigerians so that no senator will come here or House of Representatives person will come here and deny it. That is the best way to get it.
It's not as if we don't have the number. You are the one that is earning the. No, it's not a combat. It's just a question.
If you tell me a figure, and I now dispute it, how are you going to?
All right, just give Nigerians a figure. I'm not going to say the figure I have, but give Nigerians a figure.
You assert must prove.
Your money is public money. We know how appropriation is done. It's a simple question. How much do you earn? Nobody's going to doubt your position.
When my brother, when something becomes controversial, then the third party, which you are, the journalist, which you are now supposed to establish the veracity. You have to establish the truth. Please use that act, get to it, and just present it to Nigerians that this is what a House of Assembly, a House of Representatives, and the Senator earns. Not previous allegations. Because at times,
Distinguished, I don't want to belabor the issue. I knew why I asked that question. I know the budget of the National Assembly. We know how these expenditures are done. I wanted it to. You're the spokesperson of the Senate, so it's within your right to help us understand the things we don't know. So if we don't have that information, which we do, we'll ask you.
Whatever you don't know, whatever you don't know, you cannot bring somebody, an offender, to the court, and you are now asking from that offender to provide you with the evidence.
There's no offender. Senator,
so since the National Assembly member,
there's no offender here. I'm not going to divulge. So let's move on. Let's move on.
Assembly to provide you with the evidence. Is it possible? The evidence that is going to provide is going to be an evidence that will support his own story. So please.
So let me just ask you a question.
That will not support his own story.
Let me just ask you a question, Distinguished. I want to move on so that I don't belabor the issue. I knew why I asked that question. And I know why I wanted a response from you, but you refused to answer the question. I'm going to come back to it. But let me ask you, isn't it time? Hold on. Hold on.
Please.
Hold on. No. I am the one asking questions.
Journalist. I want us to belabor it. I want us to rest this thing once for all. I want us to rest it once for all.
Distinguished, hold on.
The media people that can help us. It is you that can help Nigerians.
Absolutely.
That can help Nigerians.
All right, so I want to ask you.
Freedom of Information Act.
It's okay. Hold on. Distinguished, can you just hold on?
Letter to us. In fact, to the office of the clerk of the National Assembly.
Can I ask my question now, Distinguished? Can I? Good.